Hi. It's Mrs. Stitches or Sheila. This is my Flosstube number 47. And today's date is November 10th, 2023. Hi, everyone. Welcome to, I got a few more new subscribers, so welcome everybody. I am a cross-stitcher in Nova Scotia, in southwest corner of Nova Scotia, on a place called Long Island, in a little town called Freeport. And this is my bi-weekly cross-stitch channel or Flosstube. So let's see what I got today. I got, let me see, grab my notes. I shouldn't have put them so far away. I think I got, let's see, 4 whips, 1 finish for now, another finish, and 2 new starts. I think 2 new starts. We'll see when I get going. So I don't have these in any particular order. I'm just going to dive right into it. So first is a whip. And this is was a start in October, and it's out of the Just Cross Stitch magazine. Don't have it with me here right now, but it is called Current Mood. And so let me just put something behind it. We will try, I'll try this. Oops. This behind will work good. Okay, there we go. There we go. Sorry, the light's kind of, it's a nice day today, but the light's not that great. So this is by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It was in the Halloween edition, Just Cross Stitch, I think 2021. And it is Current Mood. It's a bunch of pumpkins and one's going to be a cat. So I finished up this pumpkin over here, and I started this pumpkin here. I think this one is Afraid and this one is Happy, I think. So there you go. This is now going away till probably next year. I will probably work on it sometime. I'm going to go with what I've done this year with a finish per month, and I think I picked that out as one of my finishes, as is this next one. This next one was also October this year start, and it is by Hello from Liz Matthews, and it's called Sleepy Hollow. I just got it off her Etsy shop some time ago, long time ago. And so there you go. I'm just about halfway done on it. As you can see, I did a lot here. I did this whole thing here, and I think I finished off some down here since you last saw it. So I got a lot done on this. I did great progress. I really like this, and I'm very happy to have finally started stitching in this, because I bought it a long time ago. I can't remember how many years ago, and just never started it. So very pleased with that. That's Sleepy Hollow by Hello from Liz Matthews. These are all on the same fabric I cut. When I was prepping in October, I took a piece of fabric and I decided what best way to cut it up to get the most out of the fabric. And I think that one piece of fabric I cut into 4 different sections that were the right size for projects. And then I didn't realize, well, of course, now, because I was doing all those starts, I ended up starting on the same piece of fabric, which is all right, but it's kind of like, oh, kind of wish I had something a little different. Another whip I worked on, this was another start that I did in October. I started it on Friday the 13th, and I just had one more day I worked on it in October. I was going to initially work on it on Halloween, but I ended up just working on the 30th, and I had something else that I was working on Halloween. But let's see if I can show you what I did. So since you last saw it, you actually can see quite a bit. All I had was, I'm going to just move the needle minder. I might just, well, lots of hanging threads here. Sorry about that. But, so all I had was part of the leg done and maybe a bit of this. Did more of the tree, and I got started on the border. So, and I think there was one thing, I can't remember if it was the bat. I stitched several times till I got it right. But there you go. So I do like this. It's not a fast stitch, but that's okay. I do like it. So I think going forward, I might work on it every 13th and 31st. I did that with Witch's Wheel, and I made great progress. I also did that with Pirates Poltergeist, made great progress. So this will be a finish for next year too. All these so far will be finishes for next year. I have a list. I go through my whips and kind of figure out which ones are doable for a finish. So I've made up a list of 12. And yet another one that's going to be a finish for next year, and this one's going to be an easy finish for next year. This is my Moon Phase Bell Pull by Tiny Modernist. I work on this every full moon of the month, and I'm doing really great. So I think I finished off the second to last moon. The last one is just a sliver like this that's going to go down there, and then it's a lot of black. So I'm actually getting really close on this. It may not seem it, but the black actually goes quite easy. The moons are a lot because you have to figure out, oh, sorry. Let's just move that needle minder out of the way. So the moons take a little bit of work because you actually really are figuring out where the colors are. I will go back and do, this goes all the way throughout here. So I will do that probably at the very end and maybe just do it kind of randomly. But the bottom's down here, so I'm really getting close actually, in reality, quite close. So this might be my January finish, we'll see. But it's Moon Phase Bell Pull, very pretty. I like it a lot. The color of the fabric never shows up on the camera here, but that's what we all say, you know? It's funny. Okay, so those were my 4 whips. Let's show you 2 of my finishes. So one finish was another October start. This was a Halloween house by KEB Studio Creations. You can find her on Etsy, and she also has a Flosstube. And this was Halloween house, and it was a pleasure to stitch. I really, really enjoyed it. I kind of did some of my own conversions. The only one that I didn't think turned out very well was my bat. I wish he stuck out a bit more. And I think that's it. Otherwise, I liked every conversion I did. So really, really, really fun stitch. This is, bought this at the dollar store, and I'm going to trying to do some finishing with this. It's just one of these canvases. They're quite cheap. This I think was $1.10. And I'm just either going to glue it on. I think I'm going to glue it on, or I was going to tack it on. So I've done that with another one. It's not quite finished yet. I'll show you next time. But I'm trying to make this into a way to finish it and then just hang it on the wall. So a lot cheaper than buying a frame and figuring out. If I could actually even lace it on the back too, but we'll see. Haven't quite figured out the final. So I got several of these, some for bigger ones that you'll see, and I'm kind of trying to figure it all out. So I'm starting with the little ones first. My other finish is sort of a finish for now. Might get this fully finished or finished completely by the end of this month. We'll see, but there's my Dark Queen of the Sea. I got all the stitching done. I have been working on this monogamously for this month of November. I had essentially all of the tentacles down here, and it was a lot more stitching than I thought it was going to be. It was quite a bit of stitching to do. So she is quite a woman. I'm going to bring her close so you can see her face. She's gorgeous. Look at her. So I still have the beading to go and the back stitching. Got some more back stitching on her. But the biggest back stitching is down in the tentacles. And I'm not enjoying it. So I don't know if I'm going to carry on with it or not, but it's I bought some DMC Diamond. I don't mind using it. It's just so picky, but I might carry on with it. Just trying to see how well it looks, but I might just carry on with it. There's a lot in the tentacles, a lot. So, but that's her. There's a bit of back stitching. I got a tiny bit more to do on her body there. There's supposed to be some on the kelp there. I may or may not do that. And then there's some on the trident and some up in her crown that I haven't done yet. So we'll see. I'll work on it tonight and see what I get done. I might just set a certain amount of time each day and work on it that way. But I'm happy I got the stitching done. That was the main thing. So be good to get it completely done. And I'm going to be pulling some of my own beads to figure out that. So I still have to figure that out. But I'll do the beading last because I did beading once before, and I think with Witch's Wheel, it made it very difficult to do any stitching or put in the hoop with the beads on. So I really, really got to keep the beads for last no matter how wet. Okay. Another new start. This was just a fun one, and it's just a Facebook group that it's called, it's my Halloween Cross Stitch Challenge Facebook group. And she has challenges all the time. And there was one challenge for November that's called Nevermore November, and you either stitch on something with Nevermore, a crow, or a raven as the theme. And so I picked a project called Wicked Siblings. Here's a picture of what it'll look like when it's finished. And so this was a new start. I just done a tiny bit. All I got to do is 100 a week. And so, but I've done a bit more. I've worked on it occasionally in the evenings. And so that's what I got so far. I am really not going to have tight margins. So that is all I have. I think that's the bottom. So I got a bit more. I started in the center, or I counted out. Started in the center, or went from the center and counted out to the edge and then went. So I would ideally, I'm not going to finish it this November. If I could, it'd be nice to get, there's a black frame around, but I may not even get that done. So anyways, that's what I've done so far. So it's all, I'm just going to work in the black. I think there's only about 6 or 8 colors, but right now I'm just going to work in the black. So there you go. So that is Wicked Siblings by Mama Cross X Stitch, I think that's her name. So this is gonna be a short video. I'm actually whizzing through this stuff. Whew, gotta breathe there for a second. Okay. Then we were getting ready for Halloween. We had some of my mother's-in-law's stuff to kind of put away, figure out where to put. And so my husband was going through some of the stuff that we brought back with us in the summertime. And one thing he pulled out was this. And I'm looking at it, and it's heart hanger. They have cut out. And isn't that just gorgeous? So I thought that was lovely. I think I'm actually showing you the back side. Not that it makes a difference because the stitching is so neat, you really can't tell, but that is so gorgeous. And then the even bigger surprise is there was an envelope that said, for Sheila. And what was in it was a pattern, and this is what it is. It is called, it's by Oceanlanger Design, a Danish boutique, and it's from Victoria, BC. And it looks like it's in German, I think. And it has no real name. I'm calling it the Victoria Bell Pull. And it's a bell pull. And that's Vancouver Island. That was where I lived the majority of my life. And then different icons from there. So my mom still lives in Nanaimo in Vancouver, on Vancouver Island, which would be probably about that red dot there, about there, and just different things. And we used to always go down, my brothers both live in Victoria, and we used to go there a lot and do walks and do runs. And so I'm going to try and make this for my mom for Christmas. Maybe not this Christmas, maybe next Christmas. I'm just going to try and make it. So, oops. So I started that. So I haven't done the edges of this fabric yet. It's quite a skinny. I haven't gone to both sides yet, but I think the bell pulls are long and skinny. I'll have to get the hardware. I still got hanging threads, but I started off with a double-decker bus, and it's got a building behind it, but that's the start. And it's fun. It's got lots of colors in it, but it's quite fun. So that is really good. So I'm really enjoying that. So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna try and work on that almost weekly. I might have to pick a day, maybe Mom Mondays, and just work on that routinely. Wow, I'm only at 16 minutes. I am going to include some videos. I have video of we took this some time ago, but I never actually showed you. So I thought, well, I'll throw it in when I have a little less. So I went for some walks locally. This was recently. So I'll insert those videos right here of just walking at one of our local beaches. Sometimes it's good to just be a tourist in your own place. Oh, that wind is cold. It is biting. This is Long Island, Nova Scotia. Beautiful cove. Oh. It's the Bay of Fundy. And then several months ago, we were driving around. We were down in Yarmouth area, and they had these banners that advertised a thing called, oh, what was it called? Just 1 minute. I think it was called the Sambro drawbridge. And so we looked for it. We found it on Google Maps and we drove to it. And here's a little videotape of me. Well, I'll show you first. Here's a little videotape of this drawbridge. Hi. This is the Sanford drawbridge. It's pretty sketchy, but they made this drawbridge so they wouldn't have to walk all the way around on the road, which is actually quite a long ways around. But pretty funny drawbridge. Sanford drawbridge. Okay. Bye. Sandford. Sandford. Yeah, Sanford. Like Sanford and Son. Okay, Sanford. Sorry, Sanford drawbridge. The reason they made this was for the fishermen, because there was the dock or the area of the boats on one side of this little canal, and then on the other side was sort of like the fish houses and things like that, or some of the other stuff. And the only way, if they had, was to go quite a ways around, probably about a 10-minute walk. And so they wanted to make a shorter way. So they made this bridge. It was a little sketchy to be on. It was fine, I'm sure. There were no signs saying do not go on it. And I went on it, but it was like, I it was okay. It was just very steep, and I'm sure it was constructed well, but it was very small. So it was a little bit of an adventure. Let's see. Speaking of adventures, since I've last seen you, we have done 2 night orienteering. I've discovered that I am not necessarily good at nighttime orienteering. I guess it's because I'm challenged right now in which direction's which. All the parks are new to us. And being nighttime, it's even worse. I just don't have a real sense. So the first one was in Windsor, and it was this big, huge piece of property called Halliday House or something like that. And it was a large piece of property. I came in dead last, absolutely dead last. I was the last one to arrive. I got almost the least amount of checkpoints. It was a struggle. I mean, I was fine. I think I kept trying to go to one spot and I ended up in a different spot. And it was like I could never get this one corner. And I started redoing the checkpoints. And it's like, oh, that number seems familiar. I'm not sure if I'd done that before. And then they had, because it was a fun one, they had penalties out there. So there were certain ones out there that you weren't supposed to get. And I got them. So you get the penalty marks, things like that. So it was fun. We dressed up and we had a good time. Then the following week was another nighttime one. And the first one, I brought all the headgear, headlamps. And then the second one, for some reason, I decided not to bring all the headlamps. And we had 2, but they weren't very good. And so we were a little ill-prepared that way. And this one was a bit more challenging. It was a new format. And so at the last minute, I just decided I'm going to follow my husband. Well, he goes faster than me, but I still tried to follow him. I think I held him back a bit, but sometimes I did find 2 or 3 that we were looking for. So that was a plus. We did okay. I did better than I think I would have done on my own. I definitely had a bit better sense of the layout for that one. We might have one more coming up in a week, in about a week. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So that's a new format too. So that's going to be fun. So we're signed up, but I got to pay still. So, but that will be fun. The weather here has gotten cold. We almost had snow a couple of times. It's sort of that mix of hail-like, snow-like, but very tiny flakes, and it just lasts for a tiny bit and then it's gone. So not really real snow yet, but the wind has picked up and it's gotten really, really cold. Anything else? Not that I can think of. I think that's about it. I don't seem to have a lot to say this time, but I guess it goes that way sometimes. So, it's kind of weird. I've been so focused on that Dark Queen of the Sea, I'm kind of at a loss of what to do for the rest of the month. But I'm going to just figure out, maybe get back to some of my favorites. I'm going to tell you a tiny bit about plans. So I kind of mentioned it briefly, but next year, this is my book of plans here. So next year, I am planning, there's my list of 12 finishes. So I just picked them out. I haven't actually picked what month they're on, but 12 finishes. I'm actually going to have a total of 60 finishes, but some of the other ones are going to be smalls and they're going to be starts and finishes. So each month, to do 60, I have to do 5 a month. And so I'm going to kind of figure out, so I got, there's a series that was on, I think, the Victorian Samplers, and they were tree series this year. And so they had a tree for every month. I think they're going to be super quick stitches. I think I'll probably be able to get them done in 2 or 3 2-3 days max. So I'm going to do those. I got all the fabrics cut. So those will be done each month. I have another 12 patterns that are seasonal. So I'm going to do those each month. Those are a plaid series. I showed them before. They're by KB Studio Creations. Fairly small. Should again be able to get them done in, I think, 3 days-ish. So those 2. And then the third one was going to be another series, but I might not do that because I actually had everything planned out. But then I decided to do 12 finishes of my whips. So I think the other one's going to get bumped. I had the fabrics cut, but I might just leave those as optional starts, but not finishes. Then I have all of my smalls that haven't been started yet in a wheel. And so I'm spinning that and picking 2 of those. So I got 2 for next month. One of them I might not be able to finish. It might just be a start. So there might be some flexibility here. And then the one other thing I'm planning on doing, which is really, really crazy. So next year is a special year for me because I turned 60. And so next year I was thinking, my husband kind of came up with the idea. He's very encouraging at times to do 24 hours stitch things. So that means what my plan is, I know, wait. So my plan is that each month I will do a 24-hour consecutive on the 24th of that month. That's 12 of them. So we need 8 more. So 24 hours of cross stitch has 4 in the year, plus this new Halloween cross stitch challenge group that I have also is having 4 24-hour stitches. So with those 2 sets of 4, which would be over weekends, and so with them being over weekends, I wouldn't do those consecutive. I would just do 24 hours on the weekends. I would keep a clock. I do that every single day anyways. I honestly stitch about 8 to 10 hours a day, so it's not a big deal. But what I plan to do with these 24 hours is I'm probably going to be picking 2 or 4 projects and working on those. So if it's 2, you do 12 hours each. If it's 4, you're doing 6 hours each on them. So I might do, when it's a 24 hours consecutive, do 2 sets of 12. And when it's the weekend one, do 4 sets of 6 hours. So that's sort of my going forward plan. Get some good stitching in. And that might be just pulling up some of my projects that with all these finishes, some of my other whips might not get touched or loved as much. So I'm planning on having some of those that I bring forward. So I got a list of them too. So it's a lot of stitching. It's a lot of stitching. We'll see if I can get the 60 finishes. I'm gonna maybe have some kind of board or sheet to keep track of them so we can tally them up as I go. Hopefully. Yeah, so that is my crazy plans. It's what was it? It's every 6 days I have to have a finish. I think that's what it is. I think that, yeah, that's right. Every 6 days. And that gives me, I think, 4 days to spare or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Some of these are smalls. Some might not be. Usually the ones that are already whips finishing, I usually can get those in 6 days. This Dark Queen was exceptional, and next month's might be a little bit exceptional that they were a bit bigger and took a little longer. Dark Queen took me 9 days. One of those days I was traveling, so that was really 8 days. That was pretty heavy stitching. So, well, now I'm at 27 minutes, so that's closer to 30 minutes, plus the videos will get it up there. So, hopefully I can edit this. I don't know, last video, when I went to upload it and everything, the program that I used to use is no longer supported. It's gone on it was a free Microsoft one. They've changed it with another one, and I'm just not familiar with it or used to it. And I did a lot of editing, went to upload it, and then it was corrupted or something. It just failed to upload to YouTube. So gonna try again, because if I don't edit, then we don't get any video. So I'm gonna definitely try again to edit, and this time I'm gonna make sure it's saved properly. And yeah, we'll see if I can do this right. It's always a challenge. So I will see you in 2 weeks time, and just take care, everybody. To my American friends, happy Thanksgiving coming up sometime. I'm sure I'll probably be talking next time right around that time. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.